Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Max Q. I am so honored today to be able to introduce Katrin. We met on cold outreach on LinkedIn. I think a lot of people reject those in-mails, but she was so kind and we chatted and we hit it off and connected. And I, she is just an incredible woman. And I cannot wait to interview her today and have you guys get to meet her. And she is the COO of Elsa Industries, but she has this amazing career and in politics and in startups with large companies. She's really done it all. And so, with that, I would love to pass it over to you to introduce yourself a little bit.
Hi, Molly. Great to be here. I'm so excited, just like you, because it's unusual. You just mentioned it. It's unusual to hit up and have this kind of connection, immediate connection.
Yes.
Um, so I'm very happy to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you. I would love for you to tell us a little bit about your company because I think it's so cool and the things you guys are building. So,
Yeah. So actually, our company is called Elsa Industry. We are located in Romania, in Bucharest. We just made it out of the startup scene, basement work, you know. So last year we got a proper a facility with offices and everything we needed and enough space. And our core business actually is composite component manufacturing. This is really the heart of our company. But as all of our co-founders, Christianel, Albert, and Radu, are coming from aerospace, and we managed Racer, the airframe, together in the past. So we have a long-term working history. We decided we have the knowledge, let's do something together. And that's when we founded Elsa Industry. And beside our core business, of course, we want to also do our share in sustainability. So we also develop a cargo UAV drone, um, which is autonomous in the end of the day and with a modular system. So we can go from electric to hybrid to electric hydrogen. And also the cargo bays are replaceable according to the customer's operational needs. Let's put it this way. And what I like the most with our vehicle, I have to point that out. We made our mind up about all the natural catastrophes we are facing globally. So we said our drone also, not as a first responder only, should be able to land and to be used as a power generator on ground for the
uh-huh.
first responder teams, because usually there's no infrastructure anymore, right? So, and I'm proud about our ambitious goal because there are plenty of players on the market, and we will see who will make it first and permanently in the end of the day.
But you guys are very different in that you are using hydrogen and it's sustainable. And I would love for you to talk a little bit about that. You told me earlier, and I thought it was so fascinating because it does really set you guys apart, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's still a long road to go. No question about it. We found a amazing partner where we can work with. It's a German-Swiss company. They are actually manufacturing green hydrogen plants. They are very sustainable, and the cleanness of the hydrogen is so super important in aerospace. You need for everything a really high cleanness of the green hydrogen. Otherwise, you will not going to be very happy in flight, being more in maintenance than everything else. So we found that amazing partner, and yes, now it's on the technical side to make things happen. But as we all can see, the stacks are getting better, the technology is getting better. So I think in about 3 years, 4 years, maybe we're gonna have the first prototype in hydrogen, because now currently also the regulations are not very clear.
Mhm.
So we also need to wait a little bit and take that into consideration. So the first step clearly will be electric, like everybody else, taking it off the shelf and implementing it in our structure. That's the aim currently.
Yes. No, thank you. And what does your, like you said, you just came out of startup, the basement. I like that
Yes,
saying.
I'm honest, we
That's a
were
good
in the
way to put it.
basement.
I like that. It does kind of feel like you're in a basement when you're in a startup. What does this year look like for you guys? And what are you most excited about?
I just said it to my father a couple of hours ago. I have the feeling my hang in there is over. So we are marching forward now. Yeah, how does it look like? We also started a new partnership in the Emirates, in Ras Al Khaimah. And there, I will spoil a little bit. It's still a little bit secret, so I can't tell everything, but it goes into the direction of training, of testing, and maintenance of the new kind of vehicles. And in the Emirates, we all know, and there are a lot of players registering because the government makes things easier for the aerospace sector. So that's why we have chosen this location, and we have a proper partner coming from maintenance down there already. So, and yeah, by end of June, we are going to set some milestones with that for sure. Yeah.
Stay tuned. There's going to be exciting things in June, so we'll watch for that. And if people wanted to kind of get involved in your company or follow your progress, how might they do that?
Mhm. So we're on all the several channels like LinkedIn, we have Insta, of course, TikTok. I don't do so much TikTok.
TikTok. Are you doing
Yeah,
dances?
we have a profile on TikTok, but we don't do too much on TikTok actually. But I
Okay,
think
I love that.
that's gonna change when we are more in the operational modus. That's gonna change for sure. And due to NDAs, we can't showcase the products we're manufacturing all the time because sometimes we also have military related customers, so it's not that simple, right? And yeah, if you want to get in touch, it's super simple. We have a website, we have all the usual social media channels. Just reach out. We are more than happy to answer to all the questions. And if there are students, for example, who are looking for an internship, we are more than happy to help because we are working closely with the Polytechnica in Bucharest, for example, where our CTO also gives lectures.
Great.
And yeah,
Okay.
and so we also hit up with the UPB racing team from the university. We supported them in their first racing car, and now they're
That's
just
amazing.
going to one race after another. That's so exciting, and we're so happy if we can support the next generation because usually it's super difficult when I think back when I was in my 20s how hard it was to get an orientation in the first place what I really want to do, right? So sometimes I think it's just better if you get the opportunity to do some interns here and there and to really get an idea of the job and not just of the description, and then you can better decide for yourself whether you see yourself in it or not. So we
Uh-huh.
are really open to support especially the next generation.
That's fantastic. That's good to know. There's a lot of folks in the group that are younger, and so it'll be good to potentially reach out for internship opportunities and things like that. I want to pivot a little bit, and I want to talk about where you've come from because it's a very storied career, in my opinion. I think you have been honestly, you've broken down doors, you've broken glass ceilings. You are the first in a lot of ways as a woman in aerospace, and I would love for you to talk a little bit about that.
You know, it's so funny because I hear that really regularly, and I don't feel so special. I don't see myself so special for me somehow. You know, I was growing up in the countryside of Bavaria, and I have an older brother. I have a father who have been working in the engineering field in the automotive sector. And luckily, my father was flying RC airplanes, and that's where he spent his rare free time in the basement, actually in his workshop. And that's how I got involved because I wanted to spend time with my dad, right? So and then I was so excited when you have the first RC airplane and you fly it, and then I crashed it immediately, and I was sad. And but then you learn how to repair things, right, and to have a continuous line somehow. And then I had my son very young. I was 17 and a half actually when my son was born. So I was in the middle of my business education. I finished it in the economics. because I was sure I need a baseline somehow, right? And otherwise my life is screwed. So in the very beginning, like every single mother probably, I was a single mother. I had to take any job I could get because
Right.
30 years back, this is how long it's ago, it wasn't common that we have baby daycares, or even the kindergarten was only until noon, and there was no way for me to really focus on a career. That was impossible. So I ate a lot of dirt, to be honest, on that way. But I think that also made me the person who I am today. And then at one point I started coincidentally working for a company who is reporting to Eurocontrol and ICAO. It's called Group AD. It's in Frankfurt, and they do all aeronautical information procedure management and trainings. So also pilot trainings for how to read NOTAMs and so on. And that was the first time when I really hit aerospace, and after a long, long way. And then for again private reasons, I moved back to Bavaria, and there was a job offer in Airbus helicopters. And when I actually signed that contract, I thought this is now it can't go any further. This is all what's in for you. You're a single mom, you have 2 children, right? You have no university degree. So that's it. I really thought this is the highest moment of my career working in the big company called Airbus Helicopters. And I had luck in Airbus that I had a lot of male colleagues actually who supported me. Also, my vice president, my head of the department, and also someone who was involved in Racer. They both of them are retired now, and Marcus went back to Airbus Group to fixed wings. And they understood there's more potential in me, and they supported me. And I grabbed every single straw I could get. I was just jumping, hopping on it, learning day and night, being like a sponge, sucking up all the information I could get. And then the offer from Romania came to come over to do the airframe for Racer over there in the program management team. And I'm super proud about Racer because I'm one of the 2 remaining people being from scratch till the very end in the and that means a lot to me personal, because it showcases that once I dig in, I'm consistent and I carry things till the end, no matter what. And there were difficult situations. We had COVID in the middle of the assembly phase. We had challenges with materials, right, from suppliers. It was really, really difficult. In May this last year, we just had the first flight and it's successful. And now what can be better than looking up into the air and this thing is in the air because you were putting all your effort and your life dedication in it, because for 10 years I kind of resigned my private life, being fully focused on that. And then we already in Elsa.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, I love that. There's so much grit in your story. I know you talk about eating dirt in the beginning,
Yep.
but I feel like that grit, right? I mean, that's what you carried through the rest of your career, and it's really, I think, powerful because I love your lived experiences and how they made you the amazing person that you are today. But I think you were an amazing person in the beginning, because to be a single mom is so hard. And I mean, I have a very supportive partner, and it's hard. And so to do that and still go to school and do work, and that's so difficult. So I just want to call that out, especially for all the working single moms that maybe are in the audience. Like, you're amazing, you're seen, you can do this. Just a
Well,
little plug for that, because I think that's important.
everybody can do it. I mean, I think it's about not about what other people's perception is about you. If I would have listened a single second to all the people who told me you can't do this, or this is not for a woman, or oh, how do you handle that with your children, right? And I just thought, why are all the people are making up their mind about my problems? It's
Mm.
even none of their business how I handle my things, right? As long as I get my work done and I get it done well, why would you bother? So you somehow need to make a line and say, this is the part of business I'm not talking to you. Of course, it's none of yours. So
Yeah.
I understood that at one point, that I need to be more strict with this kind of conversations and not being bothered by it. And somehow it was also the fuel. Every time when somebody said that to me, it was like, yeah, yeah, watch me. It was like,
I love it.
I obviously like challenges. So I think this is one of the red lines in my life. The moment somebody says you can't do that, it's like, I'm gonna prove you're wrong.
Okay,
So,
I love that. I want to dig in on that a little bit. So, as a founder, where has that helped you?
oh, you need to build such a high frustration resilience. This is the truth. I mean, yes, there are startups, they are just popping out and they're super successful from second one. That's also happening. But I think the majority of startups are struggling a lot in the very beginning, because you need to be a all-around wonder in the same time, because you don't have people, you don't have the budget to hire experts to do all of that for you. So
Yeah.
you need to learn everything what is related to a business, how to write a business plan, how to build strategies, how to take into consideration future operations. Who are your customers even? How do you reach out to them? Where do you get financing, funding? And out of the blue, you're just not responsible for one thing. You're just responsible for everything. So this is how it was for us in the very beginning when we started manufacturing a prototype for a customer. I was helping manufacturing, even if it drove my CTO crazy and nuts, right? Because I didn't learn it from scratch, right? But of course, I did my best to help. And once I had a very blonde moment at 2 a.m. at night. Um, I was putting a part into the oven, and of course, the vacuum cured. And guess what? It showed minus 2, and I thought, oh no, it need to be 2. And I switched off the vacuum pump, right? So there was no vacuum. Okay, vacuum is minus, of course, but somehow at 2 a.m. at that night, my brain couldn't process this anymore, and all the hard work from one day was just
No.
going to the trash. So it was not usable. And my CTO was looking at me like, "What is so wrong with you?" I mean, but these are moments happening, and of course you can either sit and be a pity potty for yourself,
Yes.
or you say that's a lessons learned. At one point, you also need to understand that sleep is important, and you
Yes.
can't
Yeah.
always push through limits. And I think this is something really important. You need to have a balance, because otherwise you can't stand all the frustrating moments, and there are plenty of them, especially when it comes to funding. So, because there are also a lot of not so serious people out there offering fundings or low-ins or whatever, and then you deep dig a little bit and you figure out they're all scam, and you don't know whom to trust anymore when if
Right.
somebody is reaching out, and that are the really difficult situations, and nobody prepares you for it. You're just
Right.
thrown in. Yeah, this is
I
the
love that.
hardest struggle, I would say. Other than that, if you love what you do, it doesn't feel so much like work or an effort, because you know why you're doing it. So it's
Uh-huh.
not because somebody else tells you to do, it's because of your very own interest. And of course, you have a lot of responsibility at a certain point when you have employees, and you also understand the side that not everything is only just about you and your emotions. And you also have to pay attention about your team. I think these are the most important things, and not to lose your humor. If you can't laugh with your team about bad situations anymore, then you're done, obviously. I think humor and a little bit of frustration level is needed.
That's actually a great tip. I don't think I've had that one yet about having humor, so that's good. I like that. It's true. You have to be able to laugh, right? Um, I will say, as we kind of these are short, so coming to a close, like, are there any things that we have not touched on that you feel like aspiring founders or founders maybe in there they're hanging in there? I love you said that I think earlier, like you're hanging in there moment, you're beyond that. Like what would you tell them?
The hang in moments are, you need to establish your company, you as a person, that you're trustworthy, and that takes time. So even if I had a huge network, I needed a totally kind of new network now. And you need to build it first, and that means time. And sometimes it feels like you work 12 hours a day and it feels like nothing is moving forward, and that can be extremely frustrating. Or even it's related to fear. What if you fail? What if you can't make it happen? What if you can't find a solution or a proper partner? There are so many ifs and what, but if you start thinking about that, that will drive you nuts. So you need to, like a guru, you need to say, I take it as it come, I will accept it how it is, and make the best I can do out of this situation.
Mhm.
I think as long as you have this mindset, and it's, I hear randomly people saying, um, I'm scared of failing.
Mhm.
So what I'm saying to these people is, if we don't fail, we didn't even try. So we had failures on the way as well, but we learned a lot from these moments. So just don't give up, keep going. Keep moving. This is the most important thing. As long as you don't stand still and you look into all options, at one point there will be this light at the tunnel and you can breathe, and you're now going to the right direction.
Well said. That's really, really well said. And then my favorite question for the
Yes.
end, what are you currently reading?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, and I took it with me now. It's from a Turkish author, actually. It's Fatma Aydemir. It's called Chins, and it's about um, family life, actually. So, what if each family is a structure out of storytellings, and what it means to fill the gaps? So, and that's a really societal interesting book, because it describes from a big family how many different emotions, topics, and so on, and struggles are there. You need all to balance. And I think this is also helping me. It sounds funny, but it's helping me also to have this sensors a little bit better, because your company in the end of the day is like a family. You see the people you're working with longer than you during the day than
Yes.
your actual family. So, and I think there's a lot to take out of this.
Thank you. That's great. I have not had that one, so that's good. That's a new book to add to the list. I thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate you coming on and telling your story. I think a lot of people are going to be inspired by it. There's a lot of really cool things that you have done and that you continue to do. If people want to reach out, I'll drop all the links in the video description. And yeah, and I just want to thank you for your time.
Thank you, Molly. It was super nice to be with you.